Quis. Bellum. Bellum, belli, bello, bellum, bello. Bella, bellorum, bellis, bella, bellis. Okay, one more time on bellum. Listen real close. Bellum, belli, bello, bellum, bello. Bella, bellorum, bellis, bella, bellis. Okay, sedate. Okay, one of the things I want to remind you while we're on the subject of neuter nouns, that we were not on that subject, but just to remind you as we were declining, that there's two neuter rules, okay? Neuter noun rules are the nominative case and the accusative case are always the same. Therefore, bellum, bellum. Bella, bella. So when you get to accusative, don't go bellas or bellos. Okay, it has to be the same as the nominative because that's the first neuter rule. Nominative and accusative cases are always the same. Okay, the second neuter rule is nominative and accusative plural always end in the letter A. Okay, so neuter, nominative, and accusative plural words always end in the letter A. So that's going to be whatever declension the word is from, the neuter word. Okay, so does that make sense? Everybody clear on that? Okay, so who can, from last week, we need more chairs? Okay, there's two right there. Okay, who can recite the cases for me? Cases. Any takers? Say the cases. Okay, nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, ablative. Who can tell me the jobs those cases do? Okay, you can make mistakes. Remember, we learn more from your mistakes than from your correct answers. Go, Andrea. Yeah, thanks. Sorry, Andrea.
Nominative, subject, genitive, possessive, dative, indirect object, accusative. Direct object.
Good.
Object. Okay,
Good, thanks.
And then ablative, object of a preposition.
Object of the preposition. So let's just say it. Nominative, subject, genitive, possessive, dative, indirect object, accusative, direct object, ablative, object of the preposition. Okay? Now, sometimes there's special words we use for the cases. Okay? Nominative, there's no special words, either or the, or nothing. You don't need an article. Okay? You don't have to have, but you could use or the. How about genitive? What's our special word we're going to use for genitive? Of. Okay, how about dative case? Two or four. Okay, how about accusative case? Direct object. No special words needed. Or the are optional. Okay, how about ablative? By, with, from. That gets you started. There'll be others that we'll add in, but that gets you started. By, with, from. Okay, good job. Okay, here's another question for you. Raise your hand if you know this answer. How do we find the declension that a word belongs to? Okay, back in the back. By its genitive singular ending. Okay? We find the declension a word belongs to by its genitive singular ending. All words that are first declension have what letters in their genitive singular? A-E. Okay? All words that belong to the second declension have what in their genitive singular? E. The I, or we say it E. Let me just talk about that, because as we were declining, I heard some people say I. And I know the CDs, the pronunciation CD from CC got us a little mixed up on that. Long I in Latin is pronounced E. Okay, so it's Sir we. Okay, not Sir why. Okay, that's just a little note for you. Okay, did you guys learn to conjugate a verb this week? Did anybody learn to conjugate a verb? As you were reading along through your lesson, they told you to conjugate a verb. Did anybody catch that? Okay? Okay, who's got it? Who knows what one we conjugated? Nobody. Okay, well, I'll get to tell you then. Su, it's the to be verb. Okay? They stuck it in the lesson and said, learn this. Right? So let's conjugate it together. Sum. Sum, S, Sumus estis sunt. One more time. Sum est. Sumus estis sunt. Now, we translate that how? I am, you are, he, she, or it is, we are, you all are, they are. Okay, your first verb, there you have it. Okay, and we'll get into verbs in a bunch of weeks from now. Yeah.
You say you all are?
Yeah, or you can say you plural are, or just you are. Like
When you're writing it, do you put all in?
sometimes, but you don't have to. Okay, I don't require it. If you got the you, because I don't think they probably would have put plural or all, just you. Okay.
Can you put y'all?
Y'all. I do y'all a lot. Okay, y'all. Okay. Okay, now, where's my black marker? Okay, I'm going to put a sentence up here and we're going to translate it. Now, I'm sure you've done this sentence this week. So, okay, what's the first thing we do when we're getting ready to translate? We go to the verb. Okay, we're going to go to the verb. We're going to underline it. Okay, right now, the only question we're going to ask ourselves about that verb is if it's singular or plural. Okay, because we haven't learned verbs in here. So, is this verb singular or plural?
Singular.
How do you know?
And.
Okay, it just ends in T, so it's singular. So therefore, what kind of subject are we going to look for?
A singular.
Okay, can you find a singular subject? Okay, so you want to make this your subject?
Yes.
Okay, there. What do we look for next? We've got our, why did I put, oh, I put that, I'll just put singular verb, singular subject. We look for our direct object. Now, how do you know what's your direct object?
Look at the ending.
Who said that? Yes. Amy, right? Amy? You look at the ending. You have to find your direct object, you have to find the thing that's in the accusative case. Okay, so you just look and you think, now what of the two words left can either of them be in the accusative case? What do you think? This one, right? Primium, right? That ends accusative singular. Okay? So then we write direct object on top of that baby. Okay? And then we look at this. Now, we've learned some things in here. So what could that be? It ends in O. If I was really a good Latin teacher, I'd put a macron on that. But we know I'm not. Okay? So what do you think that is? Indirect object. What else could it be based on its ending? It could be ablative, right? Excellent. The reason we're not going to put it in the ablative case right now is because all the ablatives that you guys know right now would have a preposition in front of them. Okay? And there's no preposition. So right now we'll just decide if it's in what look, you know how like the dative and ablative cases are often the same. They often look the same. But really there's no preposition, so we're going to make it indirect object. Okay? Now, when we go to English to translate, what do we start with? Like when we went to, we start with the subject. Okay, so now we want to go to the subject. So what's the subject?
Roman.
Okay, the Roman, and then we go to our verb. The Roman did what? Gave. Where do we go next? If I can say that 100 times, when you're translating to English, go subject, verb, direct object. Then you fit everything else in. Okay? It will really simplify your life. Okay? If you do it like that. Like a lot of times they just want to go along, right? And then it sort of gets mushed together because of how we do it. Okay? But let's do that. So what's our subject? The Roman. And what did he or she give? He gave a reward to the servant. Now, if I said the Roman gave the servant a reward, that's right. Okay? But if we could just keep our indirect objects with 2 or 4, it will really help us. Okay? And I want to remind you of something else while we're here. We do not have prepositions right now in this class for to, for, or of. So when you get those in your English sentences, They are never going to be the object of the preposition. Okay? If you have an of in your sentence, it's going to be what case? Genitive case. If you have 2 or 4, what case is it going to be? Dative case. You're not going to put it in any one of those in the ablative case. Okay? We just don't have those, and it'll be a long, long time till you get those prepositions. Okay? So there. Let me do one more review. Okay. Oh, we're going to do English to Latin. This is just not working. Let's see if this will work. Okay. Okay, we are going to attack this the same way, okay, just so we're consistent. Okay, so what's the first thing we're going to identify? The verb. So what's the verb in this sentence? Is. Okay, what kind of verb is? I really like to teach this in Latin. It's a linking verb, okay? And the reason that's important is because we know linking verbs do not take direct objects, okay? So if you have a linking verb, you're not going to have, actually, that's not going to, yes it is, it still is true here. It still is true here, okay? You are not going to have a direct object, okay? You're going to have a predicate adjective, you're going to have a predicate noun, something like that, but no direct objects, okay? All right, so we found our verb, and what do we do next? What's the subject? Heaven. Okay. Heaven is what? So, linking verb equals, so if this is the subject, what is this? Predicate nominative. Okay, because these two things are equal, they both have to be in the nominative case. Okay? Heaven is the reward. Okay, so what else do we have? In English, we do have prepositional phrases. But in Latin, if we have the word of, we just call it a genitive. They're not always going to be possessive, although these are. So we have some genitives here. So we have a genitive here, okay, and we have another one here, because we have those words of. So we know we're in the genitive case, okay? So now we're going to translate it, okay? So what is the word for heaven? Okay, kailum. Okay, kailum. So we'll just say long I, kai. A says long I. Okay, kailum. Okay, so kailum, and what's the word for is? Est. Why did you put est as opposed to sum or est or sumus?
Singular.
Okay, it's singular, and this is third person in it, right? So we need est. Kailum, est. Anybody know the word for reward? Okay, how are we going to say that? Premium, right? Okay, now of the servants. Okay, servi would be if it was one servant. Good. Sorrorum, okay? And now we need of Christ. Christi, yes, okay? So once we've labeled it all and done that, we got it perfect, okay? Oftentimes we miss the plurals, right, Mariah? Okay, it's just natural. You gotta, like a puzzle, you gotta look for all the pieces of the puzzle. Okay, so anyway, that's just a little review. Do you have any questions from your homework that you would like to talk about as you went? Okay, go.
Okay, so, and maybe this is a minor detail, but we've been learning in Essentials this whole way of diagramming, and then they're diagramming differently in the book. So,
Oh, you mean like as far as diagramming like this?
Yes.
I would just not do it.
just diagram like we
learn.
Or don't even diagram.
Don't even
Whatever you're gonna find you're not gonna have a lot of time,
Okay.
and so diagram is gonna take a lot of time. If you think it's helpful, do
Okay.
it. But you make this best for you.
Okay.
Okay? And you certainly don't want to do something that automatically is going to confuse them.
Yeah.
It's yours. You're the tutor. You get to make this how it's going to be best for you.
Okay.
Okay? So, other questions? That's a really good question.
So would you say in line of that then, that just mainly the exercises, hey, just label the parts?
You see, I like to do this. I think it does a little bit of the same thing without drawing lines and flying down. I love diagramming though. I mean, I really do. And I think it's so important. So, and this is too, okay? But I think what'll happen, especially with this genitive, and we still think of that of as a prepositional phrase, this will take them away from that. You know, just say, you got of, you got genitive. No objects of the prepositions. Okay? Anybody else have a question? No? Awesome. I'm really glad to hear that. Okay, so we did pretty well with first and second declensions, right? You guys got those forms memorized. You got your vocab memorized. Because today, now, we're going to talk about third declension. Okay? Now, I'm going to put some words up here on the board. And you're going to tell me what they have in common. Okay, what do those words have in common? Okay.
Third declension.
Okay, so the only thing they really have in common is in the genitive singular, they all end in is. Okay? That is in the genitive singular tells us we have what declension? Third declension. Okay? That is our third declension marker. What do you notice about all the nominative singulars? They're all different. So you can't tell, right, what declension a word is right here, okay, in third declension words. Okay, you have to know. But I already told you, whenever you're memorizing your vocab, nominative and genitive. Got it? Absolutely has to happen. Okay, so what if I want to, say we want to decline now a third declension noun. How do I find my stem? Go to the genitive singular, and what am I going to? Drop the is. That gives you a stem. This first one only gives you the nominative singular. In this one, a lot of times you'll never use it again. Okay? So your first part, your first dictionary entry gives you your nominative singular. This gives you your genitive and your stem. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay. Now, a lot of you have been in CC, maybe all of you. So, do we know already our third declension endings? Should we just see if we can recite them? We say start with various. Okay? Various is em, ace, ibis, ace, ibis. Again, various is em, ace, ibis, ace, ibis. Anybody want to do it again?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so you know your endings already, right? You know those because you've already learned them. Isn't that great how we come up in foundations and we learn our endings and all we have to do now is apply them. Okay? So let's do it, let's just use lex because there's fewer letters to use. Okay? So here's my entry is lex legis. Okay? So I write down my first one. Oh, let's write our cases down. What are our cases again? Nominative, genitive, dative, ablative. Okay, so lex, and I can write down the second one because they give me that one. Now what's my stem? Leg. Oh, that's a good one. So we can all even say that. Leg. I gotta write that 8 more times. Leg, leg, leg. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay? So now what endings? Oh, you know what this is. What's this? Various. Okay, there you go. Various. We do nothing. Various is, what's this one? E. And what letter is that? I. Good. Various, E. Various is E, M, S. Okay. What do we got here? Ace, ibis, ace, ibis. Okay? So let's just, now this is going to be our new model word that we are going to use when you come back next time. This is one of the ones we'll recite. Lex. Lex, legis, legi, legem, legeth, legace, legum, legibus, legace, legibus. Okay? There you have it. Every time we do this, we're going to do it the same way. Okay, the endings will change according to the declension. But the way we decline words are the same. So let's translate. What does this mean? Law, of the law, to for the law, law, by with from the law, laws, of the laws, to for the laws, by with from the laws. You guys are great. Okay, so now let's talk about something called gender. Do you remember we talked about gender last time? Okay. The majority of first declension nouns are what gender? Feminine, right? First declension, feminine. There's a few exceptions, okay? Second declension is what? Masculine and neuter. How do you know which is which? How do you know if you have a masculine second declension or a neuter second declension?
By the nominative.
By the nominative singular name. US, you got masculine, UM, you got neuter. Okay, now, who can remember our, I like to call it the supreme law. What's the supreme law?
If something is naming a man, then it is masculine and everything else is feminine.
Or just, no, if something names a masculine being, it's masculine. If something names a feminine being, it's feminine. Okay? Natural gender law. Okay, that's going to be huge right now. Okay?
Can you say it again?
I will. If anything names a masculine being, it's masculine. Doesn't matter what declension, what endings it has on it. If something names a feminine being, it's feminine. Doesn't matter. You're going to see that really soon here. Okay? That's called the natural gender law. Okay? But remember, most first declension nouns are feminine, most second are masculine and neuter. Now, third declension nouns are going to be all three. Okay? Now, what's the natural gender rule, though? Because that's our top rule. If it names a masculine being, it's masculine. Feminine, it's feminine. You got this. Okay? But I'm going to give you 3 rules. Okay? That you can use to help you after you use that natural gender rule. That's always first. Okay, here's your 3 rules. Rule number 1. If a word ends in S, O, or X, we say the socks rule, the word is going to be feminine. Okay?
It ends in this.
If it ends, the nominative singular. I'm so glad you said that. If the nominative singular ends in S, O, or X, it's feminine. Okay? If the nominative singular ends in ER or OR, it's masculine. That's the error rule. Okay? And the third rule is if the noun, and this is only for third declension, by the way, ends in L, A, N, C, E, or T, lancet, it's neuter. Okay? Got it? Okay, so we're going to do a little quiz here. Okay? So I want you to open your book to page...
And it's always the nominative singular?
It's always, you pick the gender off the nominative singular, yes. Okay? Open your book to page 36. Okay? Does anybody, raise your hand if you don't want to be called on. Okay. Okay, because I like to just go around the room, so just go like this if I get to you and you don't want to answer. Okay. But Jan's being brave.
Wait a
So.
minute, but I'm not ready.
Oh, she's not ready.
What page?
Okay, page 36. Okay, what we're going to do here is we're going to determine gender. Okay, we're going to look at this word, and you're going to tell me if it's masculine, feminine, or neuter. Okay? You're going to be surprised. You're going to get this really quickly. Okay, first word is lex legis. What do you think?
Feminine.
Feminine, why?
Ends in X.
Ends in X, and it doesn't name masculine being. Okay. Oh, next word. Rex regis. What do you think it's going to be? Why? Because it's a king, and all kings are masculine. That's right. Okay, next one. Dux duckus.
My first instinct was to say feminine.
Okay.
Were leaders normally males?
Only males.
Yeah,
That's
so I
right.
would-
So it's got to be masculine. Good job. Okay. Leaders. You think about your times. Okay. Remember, sailor is what? Masculine. But would we say all sailors are men? No, not today. But you want to think back in the ancient Roman times. Okay. So, but okay. How about lux lucus?
Feminine.
Feminine.
Because of
Socks rule. Okay. Are you up for one?
Sure.
Okay.
So man, so it'd be masculine.
Masculine. Okay, homo hominis is man, so it is going to be masculine. Okay?
Okay, it would be masculine both because of the OR ending and because the.
There you go. It fits both ones. That's right. Exactly, both rules. Okay, Heather. Veritas, veritatis. Feminine. Socks rule. Okay? Flip to page number 39, and Harley's going to tell us about Kaiser, Kaiseress. Why is it masculine? Because Caesar was a man. Okay. Mariah, Salus, Salatus. Feminine. Why? Oh, I'm sorry, page 39. Okay. Just stop me if I get ahead and you're not caught up. Okay. Next, walks, walkus. Ah, feminine why? Because it ends in X. Excellent. Okay, now you got a new verb, autoit, which means he, she, or it heard. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, page 42. We want to give everybody a chance to answer. Let me come over here. Page 42. Veritas, virtutis. Okay, let's see. Oh, I have a whole table over here to do too. Wow. Okay, how about you, Andrea? What do you got?
Feminine.
Feminine, why?
Because of the socks.
Socks. Okay, how about this one, Amy? Miles militis.
Masculine, and soldiers would be men.
Soldiers would have been men. Okay, do you want to do one? No, okay, how about you? Okay, pox, poccus. Feminine, why? Okay, now we got a trick. Okay, up and her phone rings, so you said no, right?
I can use it.
Okay, we are, we I.
It would be neuter,
Oh,
wouldn't it?
okay, because why? It ends in A, right?
Yeah.
But go to the genitive singular and tell me what declension this word is. It was a trick. I tricked him, not his fault. What declension is that? The AE tells you it's what declension?
First declension.
First declension, and what gender are first declension nouns? It's okay. It's okay.
Feminine.
Feminine, right? So that was a trick. I didn't even want to answer one. And then he got a trick one. Okay. But his mom's got a trick one too. Because now look at this one. No, she wants it. Should we give her a pass? Okay. Patty, you want to do the next one? Populus, populi.
Feminine.
Okay. Why?
Because of the socks.
But look at the genitive singular and tell me what declension it is.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So it's masculine.
Masculine second declension. So what did you just learn? What did you guys just learn?
You have to look at the genitive also.
Declension.
First, look at the genitive singular to see what declension you're working with. Then you go and look at the ending, because this rule only works works for third declension. Okay, so you gotta make sure you have a third declension word for these rules to work. I love teaching Latin. I just love it. It's like, it's like a puzzle. You know, you get to sort of figure it out, and we can all be wrong together too. Go.
No, I was just gonna say, just so this masculine feminine rule does not apply that we just practiced all. Doesn't apply to first and second, because they're already determined. It only goes to third.
Thank you.
I'm just repeating what you said.
No, excellent. No, and I think that helps everybody. So I really appreciate that. Okay, page 44, Andrea. Andrea. Did you? Oh, you did? Okay. Okay. You get one. Pars partis.
Pars partis. That would be feminine.
Why?
Because it ends in an S.
Okay, ends in an S. Callus, callus. Oh, you got an easy one. What does it say?
Because it has an
Tells
M
you.
with it. So it
It
says
says masculine because it's irregular. They'll tell you if something's irregular. Okay? All right. Now, look at this one. Hostis, hostis. What do you,
Masculine,
why is it
because
masculine?
it's an enemy in war.
Enemy. And the Romans' enemies were all men. Okay? So keep that one. That's a hard one for you to remember. This is another one. Do you want to take it or you want to pass?
Go ahead.
Okay. Gens, gentis. What do you think it's going to be?
You think it would be feminine, it could be us.
Right, it's feminine, but I think, you know, tribe, a lot of time that tribe gets you, but it's feminine. Okay, it's feminine, okay? And then this last one also might appear to be, you know, you think of slaughter, but it's not a person, okay? So think of the tribe is not really a person, and the slaughter is not really a person, so slaughter is also feminine, okay? Kaides, kaidis, okay? So sort of, is that clear a little bit? You got that? Okay.
So if you don't know the meaning of the word, it might be more difficult to guess.
Oh, you can.
But I guess you wouldn't need to.
So if you don't know the meanings of words, in my mind, you might as well stop.
Right.
You know, you gotta learn your vocab for this all to work. Okay? Okay. Okay? So, let's look at page 47. Okay, frater, fratris.
Where you at?
Page 47. You're going to learn all these words this week. Okay, frater. Now, this is an easy one to remember, but it doesn't mean father. Okay, frater, fratris. What do you think it's going to be? Masculine. Both rules. Okay, pater, patris. Masculine. Mater, matris. Feminine, right? Names of mother. Mons, montes. They're telling you. Just like, remember, the hill and the mountain are both masculine. So keep those two together. Okay? Clamor, clamoris.
Masculine.
Masculine. You guys got this? I'm so happy. Principes, principis. Masculine. Okay, we got to keep going. Just get through this chapter. Okay, page 51. Flumen, fluminous. Neuter. See, it ends in N. Neuter. Okay? Iter, iteneris. Neuter, because they told us.
I didn't see that.
Okay? Corpus, corporus.
Neuter.
Neuter. Vulnus, vulnerus.
Neuter.
Okay, we'll go back to augmen, augmenus. Neuter ends in N. And nomen, nominus. Neuter. Okay? So let me just talk to you a bit about this pater, frater. Those are two words that people get confused. Yeah?
Why is agmen, agmenus neuter when it's about soldiers?
Well, but, okay. Do you remember what happened with tribe? It's naming like a bunch. I think it's because it's like a collective. And it's not a single. Now, that's going to be my guess. Somebody else probably has a better answer.
Like a man's car.
You know.
Is feminine, is she?
Yeah, there you go. Okay, but, oh man, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, thank you. Frater and pater confuse people.
Think of fraternity of brothers.
Thank you. So think of a fraternity of brothers, and that gets you the frater is brother. and think of paternity test or whatever, to keep you with, or paternal, that word means father. Okay, so anyway, maybe that'll help you. Okay, so remember, one thing I want to tell you, you're going to read this whole chapter, right? Because what I'm teaching you is just so much, okay? Go back and read the chapter carefully. One of the things I want to talk about right now is I-stem third declension words, okay? We've learned how to decline. This is actually, I should tell you this, by the way. This is the masculine, feminine model of third declension, okay? Its model is the same, okay, like Lex, okay? Now, we're also going to get some third declension words that are called I-stem. And the only difference, I'm going to tell you the difference first, okay? The only difference is, look, there's an I there. Okay, but this word doesn't work for that, so I better erase it, okay? Okay, I'm going to tell you what that means. But the only difference in a third declension I-stem is that the genitive plural will be ium instead of okay? Now, the one you're going to learn in the book is pars partus, okay? So, how can you know if you have a third declension I-stem? I'm going to put that out for somebody who's maybe been through challenge already to answer that. Okay, tell me how you know if you have a third declension I-stem word.
If the nominative singular ends in two consonants, or if there's the same amount of syllables in the nominative singular and the genitive singular.
Okay, did you hear him? I agree. Okay, so let's write these rules down, okay? You'll be happy if you write this down right now, okay? I'm going to leave this up here so I can get back to this in a second. Okay, so here are these rules. To know if you have an I-stem, to know if you have an I-stem third declension noun. Okay? And there's actually a neuter rule too, but Henley doesn't deal with the neuter rule, so I'm not going to teach it to you. Okay? We're just going to ignore the neuter I-stem. We're only going to deal with masculine and feminine words. First one, tell me again.
Nouns that have the same number of syllables.
Okay, if a word, okay, well let me, because I started this one. If a word ends in two consonants,
If the stem,
yeah, you know what, and if a word, I should change that. If the stem of a word, let me do that. If the stem of a word ends in two consonants, it's I-stem. Okay, so there's one. And the next one is if the nominative and genitive singular have the same number of syllables. We call that parasyllabic. If the nominative, genitive, singular have the same number of syllables, we have an I-stem. And what does that I-stem mean? Where is it going to be different? Genitive plural is IUM. Okay, so I'm going to write down our pars. Okay, let's just pars partus. Okay, so we know it's third declension how? Ends in IS. We know it's I-stem how? The stem ends in two consonants. Got it? So let's get our genitive down there, partus. And then we know we got part, 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 and part. Okay, so what endings are we going to put on these? Okay, so various is E, M, E, ace, oh you guys are so fast, ibis, ace, ibis. Okay, that's it. That's pretty easy once it gets explained. You know, it's a little bit tricky as you're going along reading the book, and it's a little bit overwhelming, but it's really not difficult. Heather?
Okay, so the I-stem, the neuter I-stem, we don't need to know even for Henley too?
I have not encountered it. Okay, I have not, I don't know why, because I teach a different Latin course and we get it like in the first year. So, but for some reason Henley doesn't deal with neuter I-stems. It could be the word, he doesn't use those words, and so maybe he didn't feel a need to introduce it because there's only certain words that you would need, okay? So anyway, okay, so we've learned masculine, feminine, regular, and I-stem. What's the one I've left out? Neuter. So we need to go over the neuter rule,
Wait.
okay?
Can we go back on those two rules? Is it either or do both of those?
It's either
rules-
or.
Okay.
So let me write it in order. That's a great question. It's either or. Okay? The noun has to fit one of these two rules, okay?
And somehow I missed why you're telling us this.
Oh, because, okay, so,
Thank you.
I don't know why her.
okay. Hold on.
Is it about the gender? Is that what we're talking
No,
about?
but
What does it
you're
matter
gonna
if it's
get,
an I-stem or not? What is the point?
because you're gonna have to decline it correctly. So you're gonna have, when you have an I-stem word, and they're gonna get you this week, okay? Then you're gonna need to know that it's IUM in the genitive plural.
And so
That's the only difference.
everywhere else would be just UM.
That's right, all the others are UM,
Okay.
okay?
So that's
But there are these certain words that are going to be IUM in the gen, and it's part of this chapter 3, so I'm just trying to sort of introduce whatever's in lesson 3, okay? Does that make sense?
Yes. Thank you.
Keep asking questions, because I don't want to confuse you, okay? So we've got masculine, feminine like Lex. We've got masculine, feminine like pars, I-stem. Now we need to do neuter. Now who remembers when we started the class, we talked about 2 neuter rules. What are the neuter rules? Amy?
The nominative and accusative are always the same.
Nominative and accusative are always the same. And what's the second rule?
The plural always ends in A.
Nominative and accusative plural always ends in A. So we got to do, our model word's going to be flumen. Okay? So,
Parson, Parsons was already neutered.
what? Oh, okay.
That was feminine. Then masculine.
Okay, so flumen, and what's the genitive? And this is something really crazy. Sometimes you miss that changes from an E to an I. Okay, so we write this one down right here, flumen, and then we write that one down here, and we got our stem. Okay? Right? So I'm going to write that stem. Flumen, 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 flumen. I know, flumen, flumen, flumen. Okay. Where didn't I write it? Why?
Because it's the same as the nominative.
I have to write this one back. Okay? I can't use the stem here, so I have to write, it has to match your nominative. But everywhere else is going to be the same. So let's go ahead. Flumen, fluminous, flumini, flumen, 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 fluminibus. Isn't that great? Flumina, got a match. Fluminibus. Okay? That's not too hard, right? It's okay, Heather?
Okay, so we've declined 3 third declensions, right?
Yep.
The first one we did was lex legis because it's,
Your regular masculine, feminine.
okay. And then we did pars partus because it's an I-stem masculine,
Yep. Masculine or feminine.
but not neuter.
Not neuter.
Okay. And then we're doing flumen fluminous because it is neuter.
That's our neuter model. Excellent, excellent. Thank you for summarizing that for us.
Can I,
Yes, ask away.
what she just asked, because my notes are not as good, I don't know. So the parse case, that was not neuter? That was-
No, that's masculine, feminine, I-stem. So lex is masculine, feminine, regular third declension. Pars partus is masculine, feminine, I-stem. And then flumen is neuter third declension.
Okay,
I'm not done yet though, so I hope you guys are still.
Okay, you said the nominative and accusative must be the same, but that wasn't true in the I-stem. Is that the only place?
It's only a neuter rule.
Oh, in the neuter.
Okay, so those are the two rules that you use when you have neuter nouns. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, now, there's a couple of things I want to talk about now. And because, you know, you guys are great at essentials, you probably know what an appositive is, right?
No.
Okay.
The subject.
It renames the subject. It renames any noun, actually, okay? Because it renames a noun, whether it's the subject or the direct object or the indirect object, guess what case the appositive is going to be in? If it's renaming a subject, it's going to be in the nominative case. What if it's renaming a direct object? It will be in the accusative case. What if it's renaming indirect object? The dative case, right? So just remember, appositives rename rename nouns. Let me not say subjects. Rename nouns, and they're in the same case as that noun. Okay, they might not look the same because they might be different.
Same case as the noun it renames.
As the noun it renames. It might be different gender, it might be different declension, so it might not look the same, but it's just in the same case. Okay? So that's one thing that you need to keep track of. Let me see, there's one other thing. Okay. Are you good for, I'll just write it here. Okay. Tell me what those words mean.
They are,
Okay, good. They are.
and she, it is.
He, she, or it is. Okay, now to confuse matters, okay, which we don't like to do, but if this word comes at the beginning of a sentence, okay, if either of these words come at the beginning of the sentence, it can mean this. And you're going to read this in your book, so you're not going to have any problem because it's going to come up again as you're going along. Okay? There are, so if it says, sunt opida, there are towns. Okay? There is est opidum, there is a town. Okay? So if those words start your sentence, that's how you're going to translate it. Now, you can also, I would never mark it wrong if a student said to me, the towns are. Okay? I just wouldn't, because remember, there's lots of different ways to translate things. As you guys went along and you corrected your work, did you ever find where you did something right and they said you were wrong in this last week? Okay? But you may have been right. Okay? And you know because there's so many different ways to translate. So don't you assume that answer key is right and you're wrong. Okay? Just think it through and think, well, can I be right? Is this another way this could work? Okay? And if you're in doubt, ask me and I'll let you know. Okay? Let's see. Any other questions? You just have one declension today. It's not too bad. And we'll meet on Monday. And that's it. Walete.
Same time.
Yeah, same time.
Thank you for sending the videos.
Oh, okay. If you don't want those, just let me know.
Very helpful to